Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Forgotten Favorites. Today, here's your bonus episode. We're going to get a bonus episode today and a bonus episode tomorrow. So the two last days of the month, you're going to get two Forgotten Favorites each day. This particular one, I've had this for quite a long time. This is another one of those one-and-done bands, an Italian band, who released their self-titled debut in 1994 on the Labyrinth label. Never heard of that before, right? The band is an Italian progressive rock band called Il Trono dei Ricordi. Look at that pretty cool album cover there. There's CD cover. For those of you who are seeing that and saying, hey, that looks like the same artwork from Wobbler's Hinterland album. That is absolutely correct. Michael Bennett did the artwork here for this CD. He's worked with a bunch of other Triggering Myth. He also did an album for them as well. This is pretty cool, actually. There's the artwork. You'll get a little bit of glare there. Yeah. It's pretty cool. There's the guys in the band. So, like I mentioned, this is an Italian prog rock band. 1994. In the band, we've got Alberto Mugnini on vocals. Hopefully I'm pronouncing these correctly. Paolo Lamoraglia on guitars. Alessandro Lamoraglia on keyboards. Two brothers. Eric Landley on bass and saxophone. Fabrizio Morganti on drums. And Stefano Cupertino on electronics and effects, with Francesco Boccardi on bouzouki on one track. Four songs. That's it. All right. They happen to sing in English. Go figure. Most Italian prog bands sing in their native language. Not these guys. You got 4 tracks: The King of Memories, A Memorable Fancy, On the Rising Sun, and Visions of the Daughters of Albion. All right. So one thing I do want to get out first and foremost, this album is much closer to a UK neo-prog type of a progressive rock album of the same era of the early 90s than it is a classic, 70s style Italian prog album, right? So if you're looking for something lush, romantic, symphonic along the lines of PFM or Bonko or something like that, not really what these guys are all about. You do get it here and there. I would say these guys are more closely resembling, they've got the bombast of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. So if you love ELP and those big, huge keyboard sounds, Alessandro's keyboard work is spectacular on here. Big, long tracks. The King of Memories is 20 minutes long. Memorable Fancy is 4 and change. That's the only short one. Then you've got On the Rising Sun at 13 and change. And Visions of the Daughters of Albion is like 18 plus. So you get, like, especially the first track, The King of Memories, big keyboard swells. Lots of Moog and Hammond organ, all that sort of thing. Busy keyboard stuff. There are, like I said, there's guitars on here, but this is not a riffy type album. The keyboards really shine. The vocals are really well done. You do hear little bits of like 70s Genesis in spots, little bits of Yes, the busier stuff. But more often than not, I'm reminded of Emerson, Lake and Palmer quite a bit. You get a little Marillion, all right, and certainly some of the early 90s, like European prog rock acts, right, the neo-prog scene. It's very, very accessible, but yet a lot of intricate passages, a lot of good soloing, good epic type compositions. Vocals are really strong. It's a really good one. It's a really good one. Like I said, I bought this pretty much when it came out or shortly thereafter. I hadn't listened to this because, again, when you have as many CDs as I have, there are some that they just get they're in the stacks, and especially stuff like this where, they only ever release the one album and that's it. So they they're hidden there. They get forgotten about. So I probably haven't heard this in a decade, easily. And I remember it being as good as it is. It was pretty damn enjoyable and pleasantly surprised. And so I bought this from Ken Golden. All right, so Ken, if you're watching, I bought this from you, distributed in the U.S. By the Laser's Edge. So that makes perfect sense because I was buying a ton of stuff from Ken back in the day, right around this time. Because, of course, this was the early, going to be mid-'90s, and, all these new prog rock bands were just coming out of the woodwork, and I was just totally into this scene and just buying anything that was coming out that I can get my hands on. And I loved Michael Bennett's artwork, and I, as soon as I saw this, I was like, I gotta have it. Really, really good. Like I said, for those of you who are looking for a slice of 70s Italian prog rock, it's not really that, but it's closer to like kind of like the neo-prog scene. There are these like wonderful melodic passages, and there is sort of that kind of romantic feel, but that pastoral aspect and the lushness of some of the classic Italian prog bands, not so much here. This is more about bombast and just more about the lengthy tracks, and yeah, good stuff. Il Trono dei Ricordi, self-titled 1994, the one and only album from this band. If you can still find it somewhere, definitely check it out. If you can at least go listen to it, I think you'll enjoy it. If you really like the kind of the neo-prog scene from the 90s, I think you'll dig this quite a bit. But it's got a lot to offer, a lot of really good musicianship, good vocals, and pretty cool artwork, I think, for a 90s prog band. So there you have it. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube. All the damn time. Coming up tonight, the Hudson Valley Squares, it's Born Again versus Down to Earth. One and done lineups. We're going to kind of talk about, compare, contrast. Why did these albums work? Why did they not work? Should we have seen more? What if those lineups kind of stayed together and made another album? How would it have been? We're going to dissect and talk about Black Sabbath's Born Again and Rainbow's Down to Earth tonight on Hudson Valley Square, so stay tuned for that. And a lot more coming up this week. So and tomorrow we got a pretty epic show lined up for In the Prog Seat. We've got a big cast of characters, and we're going to talk about our favorite prog rock, prog metal, prog fusion, jazz fusion title tracks. But we're not going to talk about the ones that you would think we talk about. So, like we decided, since we have a lot of people on the In the Prog Seat show tomorrow, we're deciding not to go down the usual suspect route. So we're not going to be talking about Close to the Edge and 2112 and Thick as a Brick and Aqualung and, Wish You Were Here. We're going to try and go a little bit off the beaten path, stay away from the big bands that everybody, because we all could have named those songs and it would have been a pretty boring show. So we're going to look at some of our other favorite bands, other favorite prog bands, and some of the great title tracks across a lot of their albums. So we're each going to pick, we each have a handful, and we're kind of going to go through them and talk about them tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Wednesday is What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility Day, new product review. Thursday is The Monsters Den. Chris Allo and myself are going to take a look at the Camp Blood series. And then Friday morning at the Funhouse, Martin Popoff and I are going to talk about some bombs. I'll leave it at that, right? And then, of course, we've got album homework assignment. On Sunday, Stephen Reed goes up against Simon Bray, the UK Connection, going head-to-head. They've given each other their assignments. They've been listening to them closely, and they'll be talking about them on Sunday. So stay tuned for that. And a lot more here on the channel. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Thanks for watching. I am Pete Pardo. See you tonight on the Hudson Valley Squares. Bye-bye.